What's up guys, Chasing Lately here, welcome back to the channel for episode number 27 of Robin's Revival, I believe is where we're at, which is crazy. Today we're doing a transfer special, no football in the game today, or no match engine stuff in the episode today. But we're going to go through who's in, who's out before we take on our second season in the Championship, so stick around, let's get the intro done. So, as always, it's been kind of a big window for us. We've got to the start of the new season. We're facing Forest Green in the opening day of the Championship, which is a bit of a weird match to have, but you know we'll make the best of it. I'm going to run you through who's in, who's out. We're going to do this as quickly as possible. Big turnover, like I said. So stick around and you'll see what the new faces look like in the squad. So let's start with the players that have left. There's been some big departures during this transfer window. One of which was Jack Byrne, who was a youth teamer that I brought in. Didn't really do anything, but I sold him on for £4,500 to Gillingham in this window. I want a free from Swindon, from Liverpool, so just a profit, pure profit from Jack Byrne. Declan Frith leaves us for £2,000. His contract was running out. He wasn't going to make it here. He came on a free as well when we signed him from Villa, so again, more pure profit. Hopefully he'll have a decent career at Sutton. I think League 2 is probably about his level, so, you know, it's a good sale for us. A good sale, good profit. Trims the squad down a little bit. George Long, who was last season's third choice goalkeeper, has been sold to Liverpool for £55,000. I don't know what it is with this game and Premier League teams buying third choice goalkeepers from places for no apparent reason, but there you go. George Long has left us, 55k in the bank. Again, he cost us nothing, came on a free last season, didn't play, made some profit. Lewis Reed has left us as well. We got an offer from Blackpool for him. It was £600,000 and he was kind of falling down the pecking order, so I couldn't really turn it down. Seemed like a good deal for us though, and he came on a free. We got ourselves some good service from him. I might even regret selling him down the line, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Had a good season for us in the Championship last year, but he didn't really play every game. We had other alternatives, and I felt like with the team we brought in, with the players we brought in, he would have had less opportunity this year. So we're just selling him on, taking the money where we can, 600k in the bank, good stuff for us. Joe Wallacott has joined Leicester for £400,000. They give him the number one shot. I cannot imagine he's their number one goalkeeper. If he is, they are in a lot of trouble. But 400k for him is actually a really good deal, a really strong deal, because I don't think he'll play there very much, but he came in again on a free, and 400k, nice easy return. I took a huge haircut on this one though. It was Ben Liddle. We signed him for 100k from Bristol Rovers. I sold him for £11,000 to Bowden. His contract was up. He didn't want to re-sign. He was about 9th choice in the squad at the time. And I go, it's interesting the scouts are now saying he would be second. He wouldn't be second choice. Trust me, he wouldn't be second choice in the squad. I just wanted to move him on, get his wages off the bill, and that's what we've done. Jaroslav Žák has joined Lech Poznan for 240,000, I think it was. 215 is rising to 240,000, but I spent 15,000 on him, so I think that's still a pretty good deal for a 30-year-old who has absolutely no pace left in his locker. He may have been one of our best defenders, but I don't think keeping him around much longer was a smart idea, so I thought I'd just move him on, take the money, run. Jeremy Rodriguez was an interesting one. I signed him from Southampton on a free, and then he couldn't get a work permit. So, despite my best efforts to get him a work permit, he's had to move on. He's gone for 175k to Cordoba in the Spanish, I don't know what division of the Spanish football that is. He's gone to play in Spain and we've got 175k for him, and that's a pretty good deal as far as I'm concerned because he cost us nothing. And this is the point where you start asking who's in goal this season, because we sold Aston Oxborough as well. We sold him to Cardiff, 400,000. He wasn't actually a championship good enough goalkeeper for the Championship. We just got very lucky with him last season. So for Cardiff to spend that money on him, fair play, they wanted him, 400k again, another free transfer. So we're just making pure profit in this window. Patrick Zito has joined Cotton Sport, which I assume are a team in Cameroon. They are 38.5k, another player we signed the free. He just wasn't making it, he wasn't going to get anywhere. I tried to figure out how he'd fit in. I thought he might fit in as a centre-half, but some of his core stats just weren't there, so it was just time to let him go. Jamie Qureshi has gone for £200,000 to Naft Al-Wasat in Iraq. We signed him on a free from Brighton. I thought he might turn into something of a sort of squad player for us over time. And then I sort of started to get the impression he wasn't really developing. And the coaches of the club were saying the same thing. He wasn't really developing very much. So I thought I'd just take the money for him. Who's another player came on a free, extra money in the bank. We'll be okay with that. And the squad we've rebuilt will definitely not notice him missing for sure. I also had this guy who didn't have a work permit, Noam Emran. He came in from Manchester United. He was a free transfer, I believe, when we signed him. He came on a free from Manchester at the end of his contract a couple of seasons ago. We learned about it a couple of times. It was weird. He'd get work permits to go on loan to the Conference, or the Conference North, and below that, but not to play for us in League One, in the Championship, despite the fact he was good enough to be on the fringes of our squad. So we sold him to VAFC in France, 1.2 million. Excellent return on a player who we weren't going to get any service from on the pitch, who cost us nothing. And probably a big surprise, given how I waxed lyrical about him towards the end of last season, is Ethan Ennis. We got an offer of $725k from Borough for him. There's another player I signed for half that from Manchester United a couple of seasons ago after a loan. Didn't break into the squad fully, like he'd been on the bench a few times. He'd come off the bench a few times. Had some decent performances. But again, I looked at him and I just didn't see him properly developing into a Championship footballer, so I thought I'd just take the money. And the fact that he's gone to Borough is something of a surprise for me, because I think they're going to find the same thing I did. This is not going to be a Championship player, and yet they've taken him to the Premier League, which seems like an odd choice. I also took £375,000 off of Blackpool for Jamie Bowden, who was another player I think you probably would have said would have stayed around. I thought he'd stay around as well. Then he started kicking up a fuss about how he didn't want to sign a new contract at the end of the season. He wanted to see his contract out. And at that point, it was just kind of, okay, I'll take the 150k loss. We'll take 250k for him. Get him off the books while he's still, worth something to us, and just move on without him. Another player we can get a work permit for was Salah Mcmahon, who was a guy who genuinely could have become a quality Championship player. I genuinely saw this guy becoming a great Championship player. Again, seemed to get a work permit to go on loan to Mansfield in League Two and not to play for us in the Championship. It was very unusual. But Western United in Australia, they offered me £500,000 for him. He cost me nothing in the grand scheme of things. £500,000, easy money. We'll take that. We'll move on. He might come back down the line, but maybe this is him making a poor career decision. We'll find out, I guess. I sold captain Dion Conroy to Byrne for £350k. Again, it was becoming very rapidly apparent he wasn't a Championship footballer. He played 173 league games for the club. He was very, very much a part of the squad, a very big part of the squad for a very long time. Never really achieved what I would call his potential in being a proper regular Championship player, which is disappointing, given how well he'd done for us in League One. But we've got better options in the squad now. It just seemed like the right time to let him move on, take the money, use it to rebuild, and that's what we've done. And the final sale was Luke Thomas, who went off the boil a little bit mid-season last year. He was really good for us for the first half of the season and just seemed to lose interest. Shrewsbury came and offered me £250,000 for him. I couldn't turn that down as profit for us, and a player who didn't seem to fully settle in properly. I know I was saying I thought I could turn him into a quality Championship player. I think I've done better with that than any club he's played at before, but I had to think about what the long term was, and I didn't think he was in it, so I've taken the money. But let's have a look at who's come in to replace these guys, because as you can probably tell, there's been some goalkeepers for a start. So the first signing, I'm going to readily admit I made a mistake on. I've transfer listed him already. It was a hunch that didn't pay off very well based on his scout report. Jack Gurr came in as a right back. I signed him from Queen's Park, and I've paid 125k for him. And honestly, looking at him in comparison with the rest of the right backs in the squad, trash. So we're going to move him on. He's not even registered. That's pretty straightforward. On the young player front, Graham Swinton comes in from East Fife on loan. Or he's on loan at East Fife, having signed him loan back. That's what I'm trying to say. I've paid about £15,000 for him. I actually think this kid's got a lot of potential. I think he really has some room to develop. And I think as a young player for the future, probably a really smart signing if he achieves his potential. If he doesn't, we'll definitely turn a profit on him. So either way, we're winning. Elkan Baggett is coming on loan from Ipswich as well, a centre-half, Indonesian. I think this kid's got some real potential. I want to see how he fits into the squad, and I think in terms of how we've got things set up, he will get a lot of football this season. I like that he's good in the air. I like that he's got that natural pace. A bit worried his stats have been declining of late, but I think maybe that's because he's not been playing. He's 21 now. He needs to be playing regularly to kind of get that development, and hopefully that'll be something we can give him, and then if he looks good, we'll keep him around. So the first keeper I brought in was Aaron Maguire, £275,000 from Waterford. He was originally released by Tottenham, and he was immediately rated as being better than any other goalkeeper we had in our squad. He's had a decent career to him in terms of what he's done in the Irish First Division. He's been fairly consistent. I think 275 is a pretty good outlay for a 20-year-old goalkeeper, under 20 cap for England. I suspect maybe he's going to develop quite well, become quite a good player. I told him he was going to be first choice goalkeeper though, and I'm not sure he will be, because I also signed an old favourite of the channel, Marcus Bettinelli, who is Marcus Bettinelli. What do I need to tell you? Comes in for 170k from Fulham, having bounced between Fulham and Chelsea for his career, basically. We had him at Sunderland last season, very quickly became our first choice goalkeeper. I think he'll be our first choice goalkeeper for this season, although I'll try and get Aaron Maguire as much football as I can. But I really like the fact that this is someone who can mentor young goalkeepers as well, and I think that's going to be a really, really big signing for us this season. Now, coming in from Middlesbrough is Geraldo Bajrami, an Albanian centre-half, who I think, looking at all of his info there, could be a really, really good signing for us at this level. I think he's improved us at the back already. 145k, we gave Middlesbrough a little bit of a profit on him, I'll be honest. But I think this guy's got some real potential, and I think maybe we can get some good service from him. He is 24, so if he doesn't develop, that's on me. But I think we might be alright with this one. Daniel Cleary, though, is an Irish centre-half I brought in from Longford. Again, I thought from his scout report he'd be better than he has actually turned out to be. 275k feels like a lot of money to waste on him. We'll see how he develops. I'm probably going to send him on loan if I can this season, because he's not really in our top 5 or 6 centre-halves. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes with Daniel Cleary. Another youngster I brought in was Otis Fose. He came very highly recommended from Nuneaton Borough. He's going to be a long-term project. He's only 17, he's on a youth contract. If he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. I've paid out 50k for him, so a bit of a big outlay on a player who's only had a couple of seasons of football at conference level. But I've just got a sneaky suspicion he might develop into a decent enough player to at least turn a profit on. A young centre-half as well came in, Chris Moore. I've immediately loaned him out to Colchester because he wasn't quite going to be a first-choice defender for us this year, but I paid 185k for him. Colchester have paid me 8.5 of that back immediately just to loan him back for the season. And I think looking at him, this is the kind of makings of a really good championship centre-half. I think a year at Colchester, maybe we'll have a look, bring him back and send him on another year's loan if he's not quite there yet, but I think this is a really good signing for the future. I brought in Archie Harris as well, another youngster to kind of look at and develop. A left-back from South Africa, or a free from TS Galaxy. He actually played for Bournemouth before that. They released him. I saw him coming up on a free. I thought I'd take a chance on him. I don't know what he's going to become, but I've got a feeling he'll become something decent enough. And like I said, there's easy profit there. He cost us nothing. Now this is a signing I'm very excited for. Is Mazid Ogumbo. He's an Irish under-21 international I've signed on a free from Arsenal. And he had one season in Gibraltar with Lincoln. I'm not going to hold that as his standard he's at. He's very, very good all round. He's one of our better defenders all round. And I think that's probably a really good building block for the future. A lot of the players I've signed on it are building blocks for the future. But this guy can play anywhere on the back line. He's very quick. He's good in the air, can tackle, can mark, positions himself well. I've just got a feeling he's going to be the standout signing this season. On the older end of the scale, I brought in Lee Evans. I feel like I sign Lee Evans a lot on Football Manager. And he usually does fairly well for me in the grand scheme of things. He cost me nothing, came in from Ipswich, played a few times last year in the Championship. He's been more of a League One player, I think, in the grand scheme of things. But he does bring a lot all round. He's quite a good playmaker for this level. He's quite a solid head. I think he's the kind of player I can use as a mentor for the youngsters as well to help them come along, and I think that probably makes him quite valuable. I also felt the need for some strikers. Brought in Cameron Archer on a free from Aston Villa. Actually, I think he was released by Aston Villa, but then I picked him up. Either way, he was at Aston Villa last season. It's cost me nothing. He is more of an advanced forward than the pressing forward we typically use, but you can see if I put him in pressing forward view, actually has quite a lot to offer there, and I think he's probably as good as Daniel Aguirre in that role, which is quite good for a 22-year-old. I also renewed the loans of Amari Forson from Manchester United as well as Alejandro Garnacho. They both cost me nothing in terms of wages or anything else, so actually I'm quite happy to have both of them here in the squad. They were good for us last season, hopefully they can carry on being good for us this season. I also paid £57,000 purely because I was looking for strikers, and this was kind of one of the best I could find, for Nicky Kabamba from Falkirk. And then I kind of had some buyer's remorse and loaned him straight back out to Partey. Not to say he won't make it, it's to say he maybe wasn't quite where I needed him to be right now, but we've got the option to recall him. It shouldn't be a huge issue. He's had a decent career, to be completely fair to him. He's scored a lot of goals, played for Northampton as well. He's been back and forth across the Scottish border. 141 goals in 430 games is a decent return across a career, although it's got to be said, at the top level, maybe not done quite so well. But we'll find out. We'll see how he looks. If he comes back and scores for us, he comes back and scores. If he doesn't, I think I can make some money on him. And I've got a little gaggle of free transfer signings. Stefan Hanson was one of these, a Norwegian international, 33 years old. I don't normally like to sign a 33-year-old, but if you look at these stats, as a deep-lying playmaker, this guy is dirty. He's absolutely disgusting. The mental's perfect. If he's going to be mentoring players, that's what I want from him. And his technicals, very good all round. Physicals, okay, declining, he's 33. But to be fair, again, another player, decent career behind him. Played for QPR for a lot of years at this point. Played a lot of games for QPR. Had some time at Fulham, some time at West Brom, Celtic. He's played a lot of European football. Very much feel like this is a big signing for us. Even if it's only for a year, I think this is a guy who's going to be something we really build on for this season. Because I needed more depth up front, another player we had at Sunderland, actually, and I very quickly got rid of him, was Charlie White. He's going to kind of be our third choice striker this season. He's not a big game player. He's not a big goal scoring type player. Okay, he had a couple of good seasons with Sunderland, with Bradford, but he's never been like super prolific. And I think I can tease a few goals out of him, and that's sort of what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for him to pull up any trees. If he does go on a big scoring streak and scores hundreds of goals for us, brilliant. And if he just chips in with the odd vital goal here and there, I think he'll have sort of paid back what I've shelled out on him. Another favourite actually we had at Sunderland was Dion Bernard. I promise you I've not just gone back and rebuilt my Sunderland squad on purpose. It was just these were the best players who came available. I still haven't got my hands on Taylor and Mengi yet. You wait till that happens. But Dion Bernard comes in on a free from Manchester United, I think, released him. They did. Man United released him after he spent a lot of seasons on loan in a lot of places. Had some decent spells in the Championship with Hull and Charlton. Had a really decent spell in League One with Oxford last season as well. United released him. I thought I'd bring him in because I needed someone that could be kind of extra right back. Now we've not got any of the Kane Kessler-Haydens, or Mark Gerardo, of course, has also moved on. I couldn't sign him, unfortunately. So Dion Bernard becomes sort of our de facto first choice right back alongside Odomayo. They'll probably split the role. It's fine. The other free transfer one, conveniently there to click, was Scott Mcmahon, a 28-year-old Scotsman who came in from Dundee. He's a left back. I felt like we were a bit weak at left back with just Lewis Gordon there and kind of Critchlow covering. I wanted someone else there. He can also play quite well at centre half. He's very good at centre half as well. So he gives me kind of that extra bit of cover. He's come in on a free, having been released by Dundee United, and I think actually that's a pretty good piece of business for us, given everything. But that is the complete ins, outs, etc. Looking at the squad itself, we've also kept Lewis Gordon for this season, we've kept Ryan Tulloch for this season, we've kept Alex Gilbert for this season. So the building blocks are very much still there. But in terms of what was here when we got here, the only player who's still here, I think, is Akin Odomayo. Yeah, I think Akin Odomayo is the only player returning from the original season. Obviously, Tyrese Simpson's been back and forth. But we've very much overhauled this squad in a very short time. And I think what we've got here is very much a championship squad. This obviously isn't the entire squad. There's a few players who, as we'll go into in more detail tomorrow, are out injured, including Maguire, Reed, Agumbo. Johnny Williams is sort of on the way out if I can find a buyer for him. I've got a few players I brought in just to have a look at on trial that probably aren't getting signed. But in the grand scheme of things, I think this squad is immeasurably better than the squad we had last season, and I'm quite happy with that. And in terms of like the overall transfer business we've done over the last sort of season or two, you can see that we've spent 225 this season officially and made 4.3 million. So some good profit there. And in terms of like what was over from last season, okay, admittedly it says we've got a £500,000 overspend, but a lot of that was earlier in the season. The kind of transfers that happened since the transfers that happened since June have kind of balanced the books a little bit, and we've looked good. We've made a decent kind of profit on the players that we had. We have £6 million sitting in the bank, which I think is the most we've ever had sitting in the bank at any point during this save. In fact, I know it. I can visually see it is. There we go. There's a whole visual indicator there. It's the most we've had in the bank the entire time we've been here. There are some things happening off the field as well that we'll get into in terms of we're trying to buy our stadium, we're trying to improve some youth facilities, we're trying to do this, trying to do that. But I feel like we can keep ourselves up this season. Last season we came very close to the championship, or winning the championship playoffs, getting through to the playoff final. This year, maybe is our year. Maybe. Anyway, for now I'm going to wrap this up, guys, because I feel like we've gone on forever talking about the transfers. And you want to see some football, I want to record some football. That's tomorrow's episode. So, meantime, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, ring bell, comments. You know the deal. Very simple, very straightforward. Until next time, guys, though, I have been Chasing Langley. Thank you for watching. See you all very soon. Have a good one.